Hello and welcome to I Choose You, the podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon. My name is Jeremy Zielek, and I'm the host and Alton Brown of the group. Joining me this week, as always, is
friend of the show, Ben Montoya.
Ian Davis, the payo of the show.
Ayo.
Ayo. It's Evan Aubrey, everybody.
Ian, you were going to correct us?
Ayo.
Oh, God. That's just... Ian, you just really know how to push the podcast buttons, don't you? Because if there's one thing that a podcast professional as myself hates, it's a fucking plosive.
Sitting
so ease up over there, okay, bud? Because we don't want to scare off any newbies. I mean,
if they can't handle me at my worst, they don't deserve us at our best.
There's no windscreen. He's just slobbering all over the mic.
It really is.
Sloppy mics. Just pour water directly onto the mic.
I mean, that'd be kind of cool art.
Drinking.
Cover it in LaCroix. How about that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
LaCroix boys, what have you got to sip on today's episode of I Choose You?
I've got a Topa Topa Pale Ale.
Okay. Sounds
refreshing.
What does it taste like?
I couldn't tell you necessarily. It doesn't have a. It's just like a really crisp pale ale. I don't know, man.
Je ne sais quoi.
Yeah.
It's more vibes than drink.
It is kind of more vibes than drink. It's got a lovely hand-drawn fish with a fishing line, kind of in a lake setting. It's
Nice.
pretty sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. Evan, what do you got? You cracked something.
I've got a raspberry lime Spindrift.
Nice.
Nice.
The Windows XP background is taken over.
Ian, I saw you have a nice tall glass of water.
And I'm also keeping this fucking namesake alive.
Oh,
LaCroix.
the boy.
Yes. Limoncello, classic flavor, gotta say. I'm going last this week because I have a special fun announcement. I'm making an important announcement.
A drink announcement. Is this an announcement for an announcement?
Yes, I'm announcing my drink line.
Jeremy's
I'm
quit
getting
drinking.
I'm getting into energy drinks. You see that what is it called? Zoga that The Rock keeps wanting me to drink at grocery stores? No. What I actually did is I went to Colorado this weekend for the holiday. And I went to Boulder. And in Boulder they have a novelty soda shop. So me and my family bought a variety of novelty sodas. Unfortunately, we drank some already. But this is the funniest one I have left, which is
the funniest.
Marilyn Monroe Wild Cherry Soda.
Marilyn Monroe.
Yes. That I'm gonna try for all of you listening on air.
All right.
Marilyn Monroe Wild Cherry Soda from Fizz Rocket in Boulder, Colorado. Let's give it a go.
What does Marilyn Monroe taste like? Oh.
It tastes like cherry soda, but it's pretty good.
I kind of wouldn't expect anything crazy, honestly.
Yes, Ian.
What's the joke?
Does it have to have a joke?
Not everything's a fucking joke, Ian.
You said it was
novelty.
You said it was funny. What's funny? What's the joke?
Well, you see, it's like Marilyn Monroe's kissing you with soda.
Ha ha ha.
Who else did they have on there? Like Mussolini?
Yes, they did. They have Fidel Castro banana soda. I could have gotten that.
That's funny.
I could have gotten that. Could have gotten the pickle soda. Could have gotten the vomit soda.
Jeremy, you went with wild cherry. Okay.
No,
I feel like
so this is one my mom picked out. We each picked out 3. Okay. And then she just gave me the rest of them. And she was like, I want something that would actually be reasonable to drink. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I also picked out 3 normal flavored sodas. I picked out an Italian soda, which was good, a root beer, which was also good. And I forgot what the other one was. It was lemonade. That's what it was. Also good.
Cop-outs is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. I wanted to actually drink these. I didn't want to get a savory soda because those usually taste weird.
And that's why you'll never make it in comedy.
Jeremy, we're here to talk about new beverage. This is old beverage.
Let me tell you, Rocket Fizz in Boulder, Colorado, a great place to perhaps find new beverage because it might be lurking between the dirt and Fidel Castro banana flavored sodas in the store.
So this is kind of like a Bertie Bott's every flavored bean kind of situation, but for like soda.
Absolutely. Where it's definitely a jelly bean thing where it's like most of the sweet sodas, I'm sure they taste fine, even if they have wacky names and flavors. Like I'm sure the banana soda tastes fine, kind of thing.
I'm sure it tastes great.
Yeah, but it's definitely a thing where it's like a savory soda that's gonna be fucking pushing it no matter what, even if it's like a normal like savory flavor. Like potato soda, I don't know how that's gonna go over.
Give me that buttered popcorn soda.
Yeah, they did have that.
The worst part is like a jelly bean is so fleeting of an experience.
So momentary, just a second.
You really have to sit down and gulp this one.
Yeah, you have to live with your actions.
Can you get like a flight of like tiny little sodas? I feel like that might be the way to go, because then you can just sort of like do little shots of soda, and it is more jelly bean like.
I didn't try when I was there because we were just buying sodas. Like we're like, oh, we'll just get a 6-pack and pick some out.
We didn't. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's just they didn't have a flight of sodas as a possibility. Oh, I remember what the last one was. Maple syrup, also pretty good.
That sounds pretty good.
Who was on that?
Canada.
A Canada.
Not funny.
I mean, it did. It had it said Canadian maple syrup, and it had like a Canadian flag on it. I don't know what you want.
That's just true. That's not funny.
Yeah.
It'd be better if they put like Getty Lee on there, because most people wouldn't know who it would be, but everyone who loved Rush would be like, he's Canadian.
It's got like a picture of Drake on it.
There you go. He's going like he's doing that.
Okay, actually, that's funny. Yes.
Yeah, he's doing the Drake meme, and it's like when you put the bottle down, it's like he's going he's looking away from the soda next to him, and then he's like doing smiling at the label of the soda that you have.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask if they had like a soda fountain, so you could like do the thing where you're like, oh, let me just mix them all together.
Yeah.
They did not have a soda fountain. You had to buy in bottles, I think.
Bummer.
Okay. I can see why not buying the dirt/pickle/ buttered popcorn flavored sodas would not be economical. I can understand this,
It is like $3 for a prank kind of situation.
Worth it.
Yeah.
The hours I've given of my life to this, which some would describe as the ultimate prank. I'll never
literally hundreds of hours.
Yes. Some might say 175 hours.
Man, imagine if we got paid our hourly wages to do this.
We would live like kings.
No,
but it also would only be 1 hour every week. So in the long run, it actually isn't that much money.
No.
Look, I wouldn't be. Look, I'm not saying don't give me like an extra $15 a week would be nice. I'm just all I'm saying.
Or we just start backlogging a lot.
They're paying us for the content. Doesn't matter how much.
We record 9 episodes every day, 5 days a week.
Oh my god.
I mean, hey, we get into live streaming. We just sit here. Every hour on the hour, we have every hour on the hour, we just slam a different beverage kind of situation. It's like
throw up immediately.
Yeah, that's not sustainable. I couldn't live that way.
We just drink liquid death most of it.
Yeah. The first beverage is tea or coffee. Then the next 4 to 6 beverages is water, and then 7th beverage maybe a soda. 8th beverage, first alcoholic beverage. Last beverage, second alcoholic beverage. There.
It's kind of like a 9-course meal, but with drinks.
Yes.
And a podcast.
Yeah. All right, listeners, let us know if you want us to do the 24-hour beverage live stream.
Could happen
to benefit your favorite local charity. I think I'll definitely be in the books. But speaking of which, Thanksgiving was this last week, which means cooking. Did you have any fun food? Excuse me. That's the soda speaking over this holiday weekend.
That's Maryland.
Over here.
Yes.
I think I said this last Thanksgiving, or every Thanksgiving we've had this show. But I had Jell-O salad, which is it's a cult classic. I'd say. Like some people hate it, some people love it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the cult classic of Thanksgiving sides.
It's the Rocky Horror Picture Show of Thanksgiving
It
sides.
really is.
Evan, you sent us so each year you fry a turkey, and this year you sent it that you said you filled up the thing with a little too much oil.
That's right.
And it was a little splish splashing going around.
So this year at Thanksgiving we had 12 people, which is a lot of people. And we thought it'd be a good idea to get a 26-pound turkey, which I didn't even know they made turkeys that big. So we were like, okay, here we go.
That's a big one.
And we did, Tori's dad did the whole thing where you do the water displacement to figure out how much oil you actually need and all that kind of stuff. You do a test run by dipping the turkey in the bucket. You thought it was all good to go. You dip it in and it immediately it didn't account for all the bubbleage, right, of it going over. So it did in fact go over the sides. But the safe way to do it is when you're doing that, you turn off, all the flame so it doesn't explode.
Which we're grateful for.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We let that sit for a little bit. We had to clean up all of the oil that was all over the sides of the stuff and turn it back on. It was fine. It didn't quite cook all the way through just because the bird was so gigantically large. So definitely don't get a turkey that's that big ever.
Would it have been better just to do 2 turkeys?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, because it only takes 45 minutes to cook.
Holy shit.
It's incredible.
So you really had the Shai Hulud of
pretty much, yeah.
Yesterday, me and Ian tried to explain the Dune series to Michael and Kateri at lunch. And
friends of the show.
Friends of the show. And I think it went pretty well.
Jeremy, I love you. I love riffing with you. They both had that look on their face of when is this bullshit gonna stop?
Yeah, I can already imagine that going not that far with them.
Yeah, it was really just me and Jeremy talking about books that even Jeremy hasn't read.
I've only read the first 3 Dune books. I'm sorry, everybody. Never got to God Emperor.
I always took Michael as a Dune guy, but I guess not.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing about Michael, and this is to our listeners. He's a friend of ours. He's also a lawyer.
And he was on the show.
Yeah, he was on the show. Go back to the Lugia episode when he was our first guest on this show, actually.
Yes. He's the kind of person where he's you meet him, he's very thoughtful and serious about things, but he does lean into that nerd shit every now and again.
He gets a little silly every now and then.
Yeah. So it's definitely something that could happen, but since it didn't, it did sound like we were babbling in a different language for a good 15 minutes.
If I might posit, Michael, of all the people I know, Michael Woods is a kind of a Paul Atreides.
God damn it.
If someone was gonna play Paul Atreides,
should be our friend Michael Woods.
I could see it.
I think he's got that air about him.
I mean, he does have a great voice.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's just as lean as Timothée. So.
Yeah. I bet he could beat Timothée in a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd pay to watch that.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the topic of foods and
Thanksgiving
seasonal,
feasts.
treats and whatnot. Our Thanksgiving meal in general was pretty standard stuff, all delicious, and we, were with Asia's family. It was really great. And but the one thing that I kind of regretted was the appetizers beforehand were so good that I ended up not even finishing my plate. I know. But so here's the thing: is the appetizers were a baked pastry with brie and a pumpkin spread in the middle.
Yeah.
That was baked and super crispy, delicious. There was a crab dip, a hot crab dip for crackers and whatnot. That was so spicy and delicious. And then there was even these smoked salmon crepes, in little taco form. So
y'all went all out.
Not eat them.
Oh wait,
I kind
Ben,
of regretted it.
You gotta tell us about your crazy little hand fruit thing.
Oh yeah, someone brought a Buddha's hand, which is a crazy fruit. It's like a lemon with fingers, sort of, or like a Cthulhu, if you can imagine. If you could Cthulhify a lemon, that's what it would look like.
How'd it taste?
Well, it's apparently used in cocktails. And they didn't slice it. They didn't get into it while we were, eating and whatnot. There was a lot of like other food preparation stuff. It kind of got lost in the shuffle. So I unfortunately did not get to sample the Buddha's hand, but I was made aware of it, and it tripped me out for sure. Yeah.
So okay, interesting. Well, if we ever do cocktails IRL, maybe we'll find one to use it for.
There you go.
I ate out for Thanksgiving dinner because it was just easier given the context of what was going on. I had a nice roast beef and an apple crumble for dessert. Apple crumble, pretty darn good, gotta say. But the next day I went to the Boulder Tea House, which I highly recommend for anyone who's in the city of Boulder. They have really good chai tea. They have really good other teas, and I had a tea cocktail as well. So it's like a mixed drink with tea in it, all of which was very good. So if you're ever in Boulder, Colorado, highly recommend the Boulder Tea House.
Nice.
Delicious. Any highlights, Ian, from your Thanksgiving?
Made what I think I can. This is the second year I've made it, so I think I can now call it my signature stuffing
Oh shit!
recipe. Baked homemade bread the day before, cubed it up, dried it out, used that as the titular bread in the stuffing, and turned out pretty bomb.
Hell
I'd
yes.
say so myself. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you guys had a good little feast.
We did. Yeah, it was just the two of us, and holy shit.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. There was an image shared via Skype chat that the listener obviously can't see, and it is Cthulhu Lemon via Dolly. So we'll have to post that.
That pause woke me up because it's not loaded in my Skype chat yet. So I was like, "What's going on? Someone's internet died? Please tell me."
Oh no!
Kind of situation. It's okay. The internet can play strange tricks on us. Anyway. Let's move on from Thanksgiving to another thing we're thankful for, which is cooking and eating Pokemon, the theme of our show. Each week here on I Choose You, we talk about a new Pokemon that we're going to cook and consume, and then we share our recipe amongst ourselves, and we decide who has the best, most delicious, most thoughtful, presentational recipe of all. And then we vote on who has the best, and our democracy is fair and just. This week's Pokemon is Frogadier. And let's start. Who won last week? I always forget. I think it was Ian.
Mr. Davis.
Ian's on a roll.
Yeah. Like maybe the role that a soccer ball might go on.
Oh, geez. Man. Really stretching on the comedy label for this podcast this episode.
Jeremy.
All right. I'm gonna peel back a little layer of Jeremy Zelik here because some info about me getting into Jeremy, metaphorically. I started watching Ted Lasso. Great show. Would recommend. And by proxy, I'm waiting for the third season. I'm like, maybe I should just watch some fucking soccer.
Some actual football.
Yeah.
So I'm like, footy.
I'm getting the foot fetish. I think that's what they say in Europe.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Jeremy. I was like, yeah, I watched some of the World Cup on Thanksgiving. And then Jeremy's like, oh yeah, but this team's good and this team's garbage. No, this team has this player. And suddenly I was just talking to the biggest foot fetisher of all. Mr. Sports. He's like, yeah, oh yeah, the balls and the pitch and
the ball and goal and
wow. But on a technical level of which I'll be honest, I just stopped listening after the first minute of it because I was like, God damn it,
Well, I was my big contribution was as noting that the U.S. team didn't lose to England. And that every time that the English and the U.S. have gone against each other in the World Cup, the U.S. has won. So I thought that was a fun fact, and I told you.
Yeah, we were actually not dog shit this year.
Yes.
All I'm trying to say is, every time we go to Geeks Who Drink, Jeremy just takes a giant shit on the sports section. Why? Was it a cover, Jeremy? Because clearly you know your stuff.
I don't know any. Here's the thing. I don't know any of these people's names.
He just has to know a lot of like whatever is currently going on in the world. So it's like, yeah, maybe it is a cover.
Yeah, it isn't. Well, I think also it was just because the World Cup was on at every restaurant I went to in Colorado this weekend, so I just saw it a lot. So I was
as you were absorbing the nutrients from your food, you were absorbing the information via osmosis.
Yes.
You're like, man, look at that cross.
Yeah.
They crossed it again.
Yeah. Oh. One guy fell over and he acted like he was hurt, but he wasn't.
That is one bit about the footy that I can't get behind.
All the flopping. People be in their flop era.
Yeah.
So true.
Ben, you should become a ref, and it's like when someone falls over and acts like they're hurt, you should say they have entered their flop era, and then they give them a yellow card.
All right, enough footsies. This week I'm Peyo.
Not Pele, the famous soccer player.
God damn it.
Now, all right, we got two footsies over here. All right.
How do you feel about that Cristiano Ronaldo, eh?
Oh
okay, all right. I do know Ronaldo because I watched Portugal versus Ghana. So we did see a lot of him. We both agreed he kind of looks like a shark.
He has shark vibes for sure. Yeah,
I can see that.
Peyo, not a soccer player, but the Belgium creator of Smurfs.
Yeah. Nice.
Whoa! Wow,
Excellent.
I didn't know that the creator of Smurfs had like a one name.
Yeah, he's like Prince or something.
Well, that was his pseudonym. His real name is like, I don't know how like the Belgians do it, but Pierre Culliford.
Okay. Yeah, when he signs his name just like Prince, instead of a symbol, it's just a Smurf.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's your last Smurf.
So he invented the Smurfs, and the reason that's relevant is looking at Frogadier, excuse me. I think we're all thinking what I'm thinking, which is the scarf marshmallows.
Absolutely.
Ooh, I like that.
Jeremy, immediately I thought about the menu and how we really would prepare.
Yes.
Yes.
But I need to scale it back because this show is for kids. And I thought about my childhood. And there was a period of time where...
When you were thinking about censoring yourself, you started thinking about your childhood.
and how my innocence is gone. When I was very young, there was a period of time living in Florida where my parents weren't doing great financially, and we moved into this like little 200 square foot beach shack, like out by the water. I couldn't tell you what town, but there was a little corner store, the name of which had turtle in it. The Tacky Turtle. That's what it was called.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like your classic like corner store by the beach. Like they sold candy and chips, and you could probably get a hot dog there. But they also had like a little ice cream display.
Okay.
And they had Smurf ice cream.
Oh, like the novelty ice creams that are like shaped like Smurfs?
No, like they reach in to the tub and they scoop it out.
And it's a full-grown living Smurf. And they put it in a cone, and you eat it.
You lick its ass right out of the cone. So Smurf ice cream blue, of course.
Of course.
But it had marshmallow in it. And I guess to signify the pants.
Yeah.
And
the hat.
And the hat.
And the shoes. Hey.
And presumably the undergarments too.
Yeah. Did they put any red? Maybe it's like Papa Smurf or whatever.
No, just solid blue. Solid blue. Yeah.
Was it like Rocky Road kind of situation? Because Rocky Road does have marshmallows in it. Was there any nuts or anything, or is it just marshmallow?
It was just marshmallow and this blue ice cream. Yeah. It wasn't
blue ice cream like fruity? Imagining?
No.
Oh.
It really wasn't.
It was just blue flavor.
It was just blue. I'll get into it. I mean, it's it's kind of like vanilla adjacent, I think.
Okay.
But huge impact on. I think a lot of my personality came out of eating
The
this
Smurf
blue
ice cream.
I go down to the Tacky Turtle with my like $2 and be like, one Smurf, please.
And so that's fa la 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 Smurf along with me.
Exactly. So as we near the holiday season, I wanted to take you to the beach and make some Smurf ice cream, which the only recipe, first place I found was a Facebook page called Smurf Ice Cream. 276 followers, and
Whoa.
I went to the about section. It says Smurf is an extremely elusive flavor of ice cream. Sometimes described as sometimes described as quote blue raspberry with marshmallow.
Sometimes I like
it's something that you can never
as a flavor.
Yes. But this is an elusive ice cream that you can never do at home. All it is an incredibly common candy flavor in an ice cream plus marshmallows.
Since it is so difficult to find, everyone is encouraged to post information on their Smurf sightings, including
what the fuck? They're like,
ice cream shop locations, pictures, etc.
They're like crowdsourcing information about Smurf ice cream. They're like, no one can find him anymore. Like, so we gotta find him.
Was anyone successful, or is it all? They're all just like it's gone.
No, there are photos.
There are some sightings.
There are some sightings. Let me see when the last post was.
They're just like blurry and pixelated, like a Bigfoot sighting.
They are blurry. And the last one.
That could be any ice cream.
Yes. The last one and the only one is from July 17th, 2010.
It's been gone for 22 years. 12 years.
Both posts happened in the same day, and it was from Old Farmer's Creamery in St. Petersburg, Florida. So maybe it's a Florida thing.
Oh shit! Were you able to like access the bypass and like find Tacky Turtle in your search results at all?
I should see if it still exists. I do like the one comment on the first picture, which is just the outside of the restaurant when it's closed. I think because like the blinds are down. Is a dude. Who comments his name? He tagged himself in the comment.
Nice.
He's like saving this for later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's what we have to go on. Oh wow! I think the Tacky Turtle. Nope, it's permanently closed.
Oh. Rip.
Yep. But the memories remain. There are some good pictures of it. Maybe I'll. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So. Stop me if this gets a little too personal, but I remember a couple years back. I mean, at this point it's been many years, but you said that you had like a reoccurring dream, like basically prophesizing a certain corner store. Do you want to tell that story? And I also just want to follow up if this is the same corner store that this series of dreams / prophecies was based off of.
What Benjamin speaks of is a period of time where I prophesized my own death. Not the Tacky Turtle. It was in fact Owl Liquor, which was
okay.
the corner by where I used to live. And the prophecy was that I go in to buy a drumstick ice cream, the chocolate kind, not the
Smurf kind,
or the Smurf kind. And someone like walks in and does like. He holds up the store, and I turn around with my ice cream. He takes me out, and as I lay on the floor and my lifeblood slowly seeps from my body, so too does the ice cream begin to melt away.
So poetic.
That was supposed to happen when I was 20. Which is rather disappointing. Like every year of my life, I'm like, I didn't expect to make it this. Like I just didn't plan for this.
Well, and from what I remember, right from one of the times you told this story, is that it goes like he's like sticking up the store with a gun or whatever, and you like turn around and say what, and then die.
there does have to be like you turn slow motion. What? And I just get fucking blown away.
Yeah.
Nope, not the Tacky Turtle, but looking deeper for a recipe for like what is in this ice, because I would have remembered if it was blue raspberry. That's bullshit. That's probably why this fucking page is a dud. Okay, because everyone's like, no, That's not it.
It's one of those. What do they call it in How To? It's like the group, group of people all remembering something wrong.
Oh, it's the Mandela effect.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
About Smurf ice cream.
Yes.
Smurfdella effect.
Was it blue raspberry or not?
Well, the recipe I found on YouTube, I had to watch this like ASMR YouTube video of someone slowly making homemade ice cream. And this is what you need: milk, sugar, milk powder, vanilla extract, 20 marshmallows.
20 marshmallows.
Yeah, and then cornstarch. And what they do is, you add the ingredients into like a big saucepan over some heat, and melt the marshmallows down. You kind of get like a base, maybe ice cream base. Chill that for about 6 hours. Then take some whipping cream, whip that shit up, add a little food coloring to it. Blue, of course. Pour that stuff, the stuff you just chilled, into that, and whip that together. And then they have like a fancy home ice cream machine mixer, which I didn't know I needed until I watched that video. And it comes out pretty nice. And then of course I would add some like little mini marshmallows to it to give you the pants effect. But that's kind of, that's what I'm bringing you, is just like a little taste of the past.
Ooh,
a blast from the past, if you will. And the marshmallows being harvested from Frogadier's.
Yes, thank you.
Throat.
Yeah, you do pluck them off. Yeah.
Delish.
Excellent.
Nostalgia.
Ben, what is your recipe this week?
Well, I am also interested in the bubbles around Frogadier's neck. What will become, in the next stage of this evolution, Greninja's tongue scarf.
Yes. As we all know, bubbles turn into tongues when you like turn age 26 or whatever.
I think it has more to do with like salivation. It's like a foaming kind of thing going on right over here. But it's happening outside of his mouth, which is kind of strange.
Yeah.
Or are you implying that the tongue scarf is already there, but it's just wet as hell?
Oh.
Yeah, it's like it's tiny.
Yeah. Are you implying that the tongue scarf is really dry once he turns into Greninja?
Ugh.
It's
less
like
tongue, more clothing.
Yeah, it's like touching sandpaper.
I guess I am. Which is gross. I don't like to think about like the tongue like being dry, like flapping in the wind, but I feel like that's the only possible solution. There's no like moment where he like retracts it to like get more, lubrication going.
Here's another question. Do you think having a tongue scarf would actually serve well as a scarf?
I can answer that. Because I just Google searched tongue scarf before you asked that question.
Okay, all right, let's go.
Zero results.
God,
zero.
Damn.
In all of
Google's
the
like,
internet.
not today, Davis.
I thought Etsy would like hook it up.
Oh God.
So anyway, I'm also looking at these, little bubbles along the neck, but I wasn't thinking of them as marshmallows, though I do think I like that interpretation. The thing that it reminded me the most of was like kind of a sort of bubbling, milky looking substance, which for my money is a fermented milk drink that we love, kefir.
Oh, we love it, huh?
Well, I feel like we've talked about this, so when I say we love it, I mean we're fans,
Yes. Well, I've had it, but only through Ben's family, specifically Ben's mom. I go to their house and I'm like, "Ooh, what do you got?" And she's like, "Oh, I've got some kefir bubbling up over here."
My mom's an infamous fermenter, and she's been on the kefir kick for like years now. But basically what it is it's like these grains that you ferment in milk, and then it becomes very like yogurty, thick, like carbonated-ish, like kind of like a little bit of carbonation and astringency. And then it's like a yogurt. It's like a drinkable yogurt kind of situation. But I was just thinking that these like bubbles on Frogadier's, shoulders and neck look very similar to kefir grains, which are these little white, kind of clumpy looking situation. So I feel like we can just kind of like snip the frog kefir grains off of Frogadier. And make some kefir. But I wanted to go a little bit of a step further because I was looking at, Frogadier's like, whole aesthetic with the blue and whatnot. And then I was thinking like, what if we did like freeze dry or like dried blueberries covered in kefir yogurt. So, so I stumbled upon this version of that, which is like a frozen variety, where you coat the blueberries in yogurt and then you put it like on a wax paper like sheet, put it in the freezer for like a couple hours and then take it out, and it's like a nice frozen blueberry, but it's got the creamy yogurt kind of coating on it. Like it's just a nice like shareable treat. I feel like it could be kind of fun during the winter time too, as like like snowballs, or like you can make like little snowmen with them and then like scrunch them down at the same time.
Adorable.
And it's a little healthy, it's not like completely off the deep end, like cavities and whatnot. So that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna take us a couple days to make our Frogadier kefir. And then once we do that, and we have a good thick fermented yogurt, we'll dip our blueberries in it and make it all do the thing. I did want to bring attention to the website that introduced me to this, which is a website called simplybeingmommy.com.
Oh man.
And it's this person's like lifestyle mom recipe blog kind of thing, but there was a couple passages in here that I just wanted to highlight that I thought we could get a couple lulls out of. This second paragraph down, Simply Being Mommy says, "I'm not sure if it's just my kids, but they are always hungry. From the moment their feet hit the floor in the morning until their little heads are fast asleep on their pillows, they want food," which is like the first thing and responsibility of any parent to children, is that they desire and need food constantly. So,
I agree, but I assume these are like elementary aged individuals. So, but maybe they always want like chicken nuggets or whatever, and you have to be level with them and be like, you can't eat nugs all day. You have to like space it out.
Gotta have some chalky milk.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course. Or some kefir milk. And they continue, which is fine, as if there was like an alternative to that. But sometimes it's hard for me to keep up with their big appetites with options I feel comfortable serving them. I want to provide them food I can feel good about serving them, and at prices that are affordable. It's like,
damn.
All right, you just described like being a human. I mean,
go into the store.
Well, this is an infomercial waiting to happen.
I love how at least half the time we're getting recipes from these kind of like housewife mom blogs, and it's just the other half is we're just dunking on all of them. Like they're trying to make an honest living, an honest little like hobby out of it, and we're just
and it I get it. Like the reason why everyone clicks on here is for the recipe, not necessarily the compelling authorial voice of simplybeingmommy.com. But I just do think that like it's a pretty wide like scope they're bringing to this article of like, man, I don't know if anyone's ever talked to you about this, but kids hungry.
Yeah.
Me, no money. How?
I wonder, like, I wish I could get like some sort of a fellowship so that for like a year I could just complete like an ethnography on all of these mom blogs, just to like not only see, I guess, like what the fuck do they do all day that they have time for, like, wow, must take up a lot of time feeding those kids if you got time to run this multi-billionaire fucking website.
To be fair, I don't think that simplybeingmommy.com is a multi-billionaire enterprise.
I don't know, they're just using it to mine Bitcoin or something.
Yeah.
I will say there were a lot of pop-up ads. So
I bet if you clicked on all of them, you'd get some really good deals on, like, I don't know, diapers.
Just more coupons, yeah.
Yes.
But I want to know, like, how many of these sites do they like keep up with because I feel like most of the time it's elementary age kids. Mm-hmm. And when you get to and then you don't see a lot of them in middle school, but then like once they're in high school, it's like, oh, it's tough getting my 16-year-old to eat their Brussels sprouts. But like, then what happens when when they're not a mom anymore and the kid's all grown up?
When they're
that's when they start like an
Ian,
adventure
you're never
band
not
blog.
someone's parent.
Yeah.
Oh.
Even when they're all grown up. That was what that book, like Love You Forever, Something for Always, that book, you know that one? It's sad because at the end the child is taking care of the parent. Like they're the child.
Like the Giving Tree.
Like the Giving Tree, yeah.
The child takes over the blog and makes snacks for them.
My mom had this blog.
I don't know about you guys, but old people need to eat all day long. From the time they wake up at 4 a.m. to when they fall asleep at 4 p.m. Just want to get the early bird special.
Excellent.
Anyway, there's my recipe.
That's good.
All right. Well, thanks, Mommy Ben. I'm going to go off yours a little bit because mine's also somewhat beverage related. We're almost in December here, and as we all know, it's cold winter nights are ahead of us. Got to bundle up, get together, and what is a better way to do that than with a hot, spiced beverage? And that's why when you're walking down the street and you see bonfires and carolers, maybe you can pick up a delicious, warm cup of Frogadier. That's right.
Is it blue?
Oh, I wasn't planning on it, but it could be if you want to. If you can find me some blue rum, I will definitely put this forward as a proposal. But no, we're making Frogadier, and also it's kind of it's a hot grog. And it's kind of on the idea, like obviously Frogadier is named after Brigadier, which is a sailing distinction in the Navy. So you might be on a boat on this cold winter's night. That would also be helpful to have some nice warm grog to get you loosened up and ready for a hard row. Yes, Ian?
Would drinking your beverage make me fond of your lobster?
Yes, absolutely.
Just checking.
It'd make you fond of most things. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So what you're going to do is you're going to get some dark rum. You're going to get some lime juice. You're going to get some brown sugar. You're going to get a cinnamon stick. You're going to get an orange slice. And if you want, you can also throw in some anise if you're feeling so inclined on this occasion. And I agree, though I agree with you guys using I almost called it a sweater, the scarf that's around the Frogadier's neck. But I'm going to use it as kind of like a mix in my drink. So I'm going to collect the scarf and kind of like put it down into a more liquid form because I assume it's kind of like foamy like bubbles. So we'll reduce it a little bit. Maybe they'll over a light heat kind of situation. And I think this will give it a nice kind of a good like aquatic essence because of the water typing of the Pokemon. So it will remind you of being on the sea or being next to the coast or being next to
it's salty?
It's not salty.
Okay.
Ben, if you eat a fish, you're like, this is delicious seafood, but it's really salty. It kind of situation.
You said that it's going to remind me of being on a boat and at the coast.
But you didn't leave my next thing. Perhaps a nice lake as well.
Oh,
so
okay.
just
okay,
or a lake. No.
Just like body of water kind of thing. It'll help you transport yourself to that experience.
Okay.
And you mix it in. You warm it up. Maybe you get a nice like bucket, and you have a ladle, and you like scoop it into cups to hand out to people as they're walking down past your bonfire, and you're like, got a cup of Frogadier just for you. Yes, Ian.
Have you ever had grog?
Yes.
How is it? Is it like a hot toddy?
Not really. It's just like spiced rum. Like it's like that is the experience. So if you have like, yeah, so it's basically it's warm rum with your choice of spices in it, and that's basically the experience of it. I mean, it's good especially if it's like good rum kind of situation.
The thing that I have more experience with is glurg, which is basically the same thing, but like more of a wine-based thing. I think it's more German, I think. And they do like a wine with mulled like spices in it, but then you do like add like rum or amaretto or something like that to it as well.
People just want to get absolutely lit.
Yeah, that's a very schwasty drink sounding.
I mean, exactly. It's the kind of like party. It's like, it's like you're having a holiday party and you have a giant like cauldron full of glurg that everyone.
I was gonna say, if you just want to slap the bag at your holiday party.
I'm feeling it's not as a professional setting. It's more of a casual with friends kind of thing. But we've also taken it like with us on the Canyon Road Walk in Santa Fe, which is a Christmas Eve tradition. And I was definitely getting those vibes from your recipe, Jeremy.
Yes, absolutely. This getting my hot grog is definitely something you could theoretically do on the Santa Fe, New Mexico Canyon Road Christmas Eve walk.
I was about to say, what if this year, presuming we're all at that walk, we could each bring a different hot alcoholic beverage and do a live LaCroix Boys.
Oh shit!
On the scene.
As long as someone can drive us home.
We can walk home.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Well,
all the way to San Diego.
Yeah. Well, not home. My house. There you
go. Maybe I'll definitely. And you know what? It's definitely something to think about. Ben, you can bring the glurg.
Ian, bring like a 4-track recorder that we could.
Yep.
Cassette recorder.
There you go.
All right, Evan, what's your recipe this week?
Well, much like Ben, I too perused the housewife mom blogs for this week's recipe, and I was looking absolutely at the marshmallows, so that's going to play into it. I remember, I think on a previous episode I already did a Jell-O salad, so that was right out the window. But that was going to be my first. It was on the tip of my tongue. I recently had it, so that was my first option. But this time we're making a nice sugary snack that you might serve your kids because they're fucking hungry all the time. We're making dark chocolate salted blue caramel dipped marshmallows.
Oh shit! How are you gonna get that caramel blue? Is it just food coloring?
So I'm presupposing here that because Frogadier's a water type and all that good stuff. Water types love to just like shoot water from their mouths. But I'm also I'm presupposing that this substance, it's not just water. It's like a blue liquid. So we're going to use that to kind of like dye the caramel a blue color.
So like in the anime when they do like squirrel use water gun and it comes out as like a light blue, liquid spurting out. It's not...
what they don't show you is the enemy just turning into like a member of the Blue Man Group afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
So what you need for this is your bag of Frogadier marshmallows from their thing that they got going on, their scarf. You're going to basically line those on like a parchment paper thing and stick them in the freezer so they get all nice and hard, because we're going to like dip them in some nice warm caramel, so we don't want them to like totally melt as you're doing that. So you whip together your caramel sauce with your sugar and all that good stuff, and add a little bit of the blue stuff at the end, kind of mix that in, turns nice deep kind of rich blue color. And then you just do a nice little, once that's ready to go, you just take each marshmallow, you do a little dip, and then you let that set for a little bit, and then you dip it in some nice melted dark chocolate that you have on the side. Do that, and then you stick them back on your parchment paper, and you crumble a little bit of like graham cracker crust crumbs on top. Nice little crunch, and you just let those cool and let those sit, and they're ready for an after school snack.
So it's kind of like a s'more.
Basically, yeah. It's more marshmallow than it is like s'more, but
than man.
All the good elements, yeah. More marshmallow than man.
So can you make it look like the frog, like when you're like putting it together?
You could put multiple of them together and go, maybe if you wanted to get really crazy, get some like toothpicks and then like have it all like strung together, right? But yeah, I'm imagining like you take one bite in and then you see the blue, and that's all, like kind of all the hint you need. You get all the color combos in there. Ian.
In my research with marshmallows, I found like a website that was like 40 creative marshmallow recipes. Didn't get to number 10 without a fucking s'more being on the list.
Yep.
Wow.
And then, like,
So creative.
Rice Krispie treat was right after it. I was like, all right.
Jeez.
I too went to a website that was 30 top 30 delicious marshmallow desserts you must try. And s'more was literally like number 5 or 3, excuse me.
What was number 1?
Number 1 was, it actually looked pretty
Cocoa.
good. It's raspberry rocky road bars. Now that I would say deserves a top spot.
What the hell? Why is that number 1? That's like the least iconic marshmallow thing I can think of.
Not necessarily iconic, but it's just delicious treats you must try.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe
okay.
That's the top one you must.
Okay.
The second one I will say is a little bit, it's peanut butter marshmallow squares, and I don't know if I like the like brown peanut butter with like, they've got like the rainbow marshmallows in there. It's just like not appealing.
That's a wild choice.
Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, dipped marshmallows.
Nice.
Sounds
Well,
good.
let's review our recipes and vote on them. From Ian, we have Frogadier. What did you call it again exactly?
Smurf ice cream.
Smurf ice cream. Just Smurf ice cream. Yes. Okay. From Ben, we have Frogadier kefir like balls that you said.
Blueberries.
The
Blueberries. But they're like you like wrap them up in a snowball, or was it like a yogurt thing?
It's like a dipped yogurt.
Okay, dipped yogurt. From me, we have Frogadier, so it's hot grog, and from Evan, we have dipped marshmallow Frogadier. So put in your votes and let's see how everything's going. Ben, do you have a winner?
Jeremy, I have a winner. It's you.
Oh,
Jeremy.
Man, finally a pun wins.
got that grog.
Yes.
You got 2 votes. I got a vote, and Evan got a vote.
Nice. Smurf ice cream definitely would have been my second. I'm all about it.
You guys just walked me into the corner store and shot me.
Oh no. Ian didn't realize that his real death was prophesized to be on a podcast over a 4-way vote.
Man, no one ever suspects that.
What?
Yes. Excellent. Well, now's the time of the show where we read emails. It's called Whale Lord's Mail Horde. We're going to head on over to the I Choose You email, which is ichoosepod@gmail.com. We have a series of emails sent in by many friends of the show. So, Ben, can you start out with Chris's email?
I can, yes. Chris writes this email that says, "Hi, Evan, and no one else."
Oh, hi.
Yeah, so everyone else, you can take your headphones off. This one's just for Evan.
Yeah.
We're doing Frogadier this week, and well, there was an obvious choice. I had to talk about the French restaurant scene at the beginning of Goncharov, 1973, that has created so much confusion over the years. And there's a lot to be confused about. Why is Goncharov's first meal in Naples at a French... I feel like this email just preface, like, this is not going to make any fucking sense unless you've been on tumblr.com. There's a lot to be confused about it. Why is Goncharov's first meal in Naples at a French restaurant? Is it really just that he can't stand Italian food, as Katya later claims? Why are the fried frog legs blue? Obviously, this is what made me think of Frogadier. What is the strange bubbly substance served alongside them? And of course, there is that famous baffling exchange where Goncharov asks Katya, in that strange, ponderous way, typical of both the character and the movie, "Katya, my love, what is a frog?" And Katya responds, "A miserable little creature that lives off bugs and pond scum." Goncharov sort of nods sagely and doesn't elaborate further, and most people have interpreted this as some kind of metaphor for his own life and situation. But I think it's actually the first of several hints throughout the movie that Goncharov has literally never seen a frog before and doesn't know what they are. Anyway, the point is, we all know Goncharov was filmed years before the first Pokemon games were released, so the filmmakers weren't deliberately referencing Frogadier. But you know what did exist before 1973? NyQuil. That's right. I suspect Goncharov's blue frog legs are a stunningly prescient forerunner of the infamous 2022 meme dish NyQuil chicken.
Oh, that's awesome.
Excellent.
This is like wrapping. I'm expecting there to be like just all of the 2022 memes wrapped up into this email just because of this. This would also explain why the very next scene has Goncharov and Katya going to bed in the middle of the afternoon. The frog legs have been marinated overnight in NyQuil, probably along with some extra seasonings like garlic, black pepper, and fennel, then pan-fried and served with a little blueberry sauce to cut the bitterness of the cough syrup. As for the weird bubbly substance on the side of the plate, this can only be what I assume the French call Burgundian caviar.
I'm not familiar with this.
It's like
That
red
is
caviar.
cured frog spawn.
Ooh.
While cheaper than fish eggs, this is still pretty time-consuming to gather and clean and has to be salted very carefully and precisely. Is this a good dish? Well, that's the interesting thing. It's probably not. But it's a statement dish, and in 1973 Italy, it would have been a pretty expensive one, which ties in with Katya's struggle throughout the movie to give up the expensive but ultimately hollow luxuries that Goncharov's Mafia lifestyle affords them. The NyQuil also alludes to some of Andrew's cryptic lines about Goncharov being, quote, asleep before he came to Naples. Something else they didn't have in 1973 was LaCroix, which was first sold in 1980. So Goncharov and Katya both drink white wine in this scene and chase it with a shot of neat vodka. But if the movie had been made today, its setting in Naples made it clear that the only appropriate LaCroix pairing is limoncello.
Nice.
Excellent.
So
thank you so much for writing in, Pokemania, Chris.
So we maybe for the uninitiated, I can explain that Goncharov is a fake movie that Tumblr has collectively manifested into existence over the past couple of weeks. And we joked about it last week on the show, but at the time I was a very staunch, I don't give a shit about what this is and I don't care to explore it. And then it took a total of like 5 hours between that and the next time that I checked Tumblr to be like, okay, this is the best thing to ever happen on the internet this year.
It's like between that and like Ratatouille, the musical.
So the thing that I thought was funny is when I first started seeing it, I just thought that it was a bunch of like actual, like people like Jeremy, who were actual movie nerds, like arguing about a movie I'd never seen before and probably never will. So I was like, I'm just going to scroll on by this. I don't give a shit. Then I realized that it wasn't real and that it was directed by a man whose mother was an Italian and his father was a license plate.
Yes.
And that there was a boat scene, that clocks were significant to the symbolism of Goncharov 1973, that Katya did in fact have a gun, and basically that everything that is written and never will be written about Goncharov is like, is like, you know, fan fiction into itself. Like,
it all reads like a book report to me.
It's just like endlessly spiraling lore based on nothing. Yes. Because there is nothing.
Well, it's based on a shoe.
Yeah.
Because this all happened because some guy bought a shoe or a boot or something, and it had just a bunch of weird random text on it. It said like Martin Scorsese presents Goncharov 1973, Matteo JJH315 or whatever. and people were like, okay, whatever, I guess. And it was crazy as this post is like from a year ago.
Yeah.
And just in the last month, everyone's like, okay, this is a movie, Goncharov 1973. And what's funny is that apparently it's a mafia movie about a Soviet person, which is always
the greatest mafia movie ever made.
It's the greatest mafia movie ever made, which is funny that you've never heard of it before.
Dumb.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So anyway, that entire email was solely for me, actually, not for Evan.
Apparently not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Next email is from Helen. And Evan, could you read this email that says, "Hi, Evan"?
I can. It came in 3 parts, but I think they're all the same.
You just read the top one.
Okay. Hi, Evan and Redacted. Man, Frogadier is really calling out to me today. Haven't written an email in forever, but somehow it seemed like this week is the right week. I wonder why. Now, we all know what the obvious choice for eating a frogmon would entail, but you know what this little guy reminds me of? That opening scene from the 1973 hit movie Goncharov. Goncharov eating his little frog legs and openly detesting Italian food is such a delight. I think he's correct in opposing Italians because, according to the sources being me, I just made this up, Italians don't know how to cook frogs anyway. French people are way better at cooking something that won't put up much of a fight. They're historically losers anyway. But anyway, in the scene, Goncharov and Katya order some frog legs, and they end up loving them so much that when they get to the last one, they grasp it in their meaty hands and attempt to eat it Lady and the Tramp style. However, before their lips touch, Goncharov whispers, "I could never express in words just how riveting you are," and then swallows the last bite all to himself. Anyway, I think instead of going for traditional frog legs, we'll go over to Japan briefly to try something we all know, sushi. But not the cute frog sushi rolls that have green dyed rice and look like a frog. No, we're talking sashimi. Frog sashimi exists and is as crazy as you can imagine. There's even videos of people eating live frogs on YouTube, and some of them are categorized as ASMR. I guess those people want to experience the meal that fights back instead of, goldfish, the snack that smiles back.
Right.
To prepare Frogadier sashimi, you'll need some sushi rice, one freshly sliced and skinned frog mon, and some essential seasoning. Sushi rice typically contains vinegar and a little sugar, but instead of the typical ginger and wasabi on top, let's sub it out for a mix of lemon juice and soy sauce. The best pieces would be the legs and the belly, probably. IDK, I don't really eat sashimi, haha. But hope you enjoy it nonetheless. Helen.
Excellent.
I'm like this close to starting a new podcast called Gaunch with the Wind. That's strictly just like all Goncharov related content and emails.
At what point, is there someone
know that Gone with the Wind was about the Civil War?
That was on this show. Was on this show.
Thanks for ripping
Is there
that
someone
Band-Aid off.
collecting all of the Gaunch canon to make sure that when the posts build on top of themselves that there's somewhat a real lore now?
I think there are some people that are trying to do that, but the fun of it is that there is no actual every lore is just its own lore. And it has it's got a lot of AO3 submissions already, so the fanfic writers are on it.
Good stuff.
And there are some agreed upon ideas in terms of characters and settings, but a lot of it is up for interpretation.
Excellent. I will say that Martin Scorsese, who produced Goncharov, did comment on the fact his daughter texted him about Goncharov 1973, and Martin Scorsese did say, "Yeah, I made that movie.
I made that movie a long time ago."
Of course he
did. Yes. So I'm glad that Martin Scorsese knows about Goncharov, and he knows that he made it. But last email is from Ed. Ian, could you read Ed's email?
Hello, Icy Boys. This email is for all of you, but mostly for one Evan_Aubrey. Ian, I know you typically read my emails, so just read this one in Evan's direction. I'm looking right at him.
I mean, there's nowhere else we can look, really.
No. Hope you are enjoying your food day today. For me, this evening, I'm going to a little Bassoonsgiving food event at a studio member's house. Nerd!
Just imagine going to someone's house and there's 8 people playing the bassoon at the same time.
Oh, yeah. So much money in one place. What a wonderful day to be writing an email about food than a food day. And how fitting is it that we're cooking a frog Pokemon in our Kalos season?
I've never really it just occurred to me that, yes, it is a frog Pokemon in the French area, and it's a starter, so frog legs.
Yeah.
Should have been more on top of that. Anyway, continue, Ian.
A brief tangent, but I've been seeing lots of posts on TikTok recently about themed teams finally being able to be completed because of the new Pokemon in Paldea. Paldea? I don't know. Like a 6-dog team in the game, a 6-spider team, a 6-frog team, etc. Makes me very happy to see stuff like that. I love to see people enjoying the game and just having a lot of fun. Anyway, Seeing the Mon on the chopping block this week reminded me of a scene from one of my favorite movies.
Oh, I wonder what it is.
In the scene, the two main characters, Katya and Goncharov.
Well, that's debatable whether those are the two main characters, but continue.
They share a very, very awkward meal in a French restaurant of, you guessed it, frog legs. It's kind of rude for them to go to a French restaurant right after getting into Naples, but it's because Goncharov hates Italian food. What a Colossian thing to do.
Oh, so Colossian.
So this recipe I'm making is Audrey's fatal Frogadier legs.
Andrew?
No, it says Audrey.
I'm gonna.
It's canon, Ben. It's canon.
I'm gonna call foul on that one.
Yellow card.
Ben, you didn't care about this meme 6 days ago.
I know, but now I'm on the bandwagon, so I have to defend it just a little bit.
Audrey's fatal Frogadier legs, taking Scorsese's 1973 hit Goncharov as inspiration. Fatal Frogadier legs are perfect for this quarreling, tumultuous couple. Early on in the movie, Katya says to the eponymous character, "Of course we're in love. That's why I tried to shoot you." Can you confirm that, Ben?
Yeah, that is one of the things that the people have been sharing. Yeah.
Okay. And Goncharov replies, Goncharov replies, "If we were really in love, you wouldn't have missed."
Yep.
Consider this. This is like my reading of the script if to play Goncharov.
I mean, I guess the other Gaunch with the Wind podcast would be like a fiction, like a table reading of like the script for audio, the audio medium.
Yep. This is a passionate dish made of frogadier and assorted low-level grass types. We'll need small of oil for sautéing, oddish for aromatics, a surfetched sword to help cook the frog legs in, and the femme fatale roserade to help us cook it. To start, boil water in a large pot. To continue, throw the frogadier in the boiling water. After some unsavory sights, we'll skin the frog and prepare the legs for sautéing once the frogadier is dead, and the legs can be easily ripped off. We'll start by putting the small of oil and aromatics and whatever seasoning of your choice, whether you want to go for a Unovan style heavy salt seasoning or even a Paldian Knockley Scovillin based allspice. Maybe you even want to go with the bland Kalos Tropius lemon flavors comparatively to the other regions. I think if you add bits and pieces of each region's flavor palettes, you can make something truly great with this. Next is where we add the passion. Turn to the sous chef roserade. They'll know what to add to the pan.
Oh, no.
Your roserade will dispense some blood red liquid from the red flour they have. Cover the frogadier legs with this. It'll add a smoky, tasty, passionate flavor of love to the dish, but also a hefty amount of poison.
Oh,
Spoilers for the end of Goncharov.
Oh shit. Cover your ears, guys.
Audrey didn't miss.
Andrew.
This dish is about love and loss, knowing what's best for you and the rest of the world. Revenge is a dish best served by a roserade. Ed.
Nice.
Wow.
I think you got the party.
Nice. All right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I gotta say, round of applause, the three of you. That was that really threw me for a loop. I love it.
Well, I'm glad it did because I'm always on the Discord looking in the next week's Pokemon section for recipes, and they were conspiring there, but they're like, do not read, and then they put things behind spoiler tags.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'll just look. They're arranging some sort of email situation, so I'll let them do that. So I did know that the emails would be interconnected, but I did not. I did know that Goncharov would be mentioned. I didn't know it would be all about the same scene in Goncharov where they have frog legs. Anyway,
iconic, absolutely iconic.
we're going long, so let's pick next week's Pokemon in a segment we like to call Pick-a-mon. Evan, can you can you randomly select a number between 650 and 721?
I can indeed. And next week will be 675.
675,
you say? Up before.
675. Well, it's close. It's Pangaroo, which is the evolution of Pancham. We did Pancham, so give me another number.
How about 687?
687, you say? 687 is Malamar, the squid Pokemon.
Ooh, nice.
An evolution of Inkay, which I remember is one of my favorite evolutions in the Pokemon games, because what you do is you get it open while you have the Inkay, you close the DS and you turn it upside down.
What?
And that's how you evolve the Inkay into the Malamar.
That's incredible.
I didn't realize that was the original version. Wow.
Yep, because it's upside down. It's really cute. That's a very clever idea. Anyway, send us your Malamar recipes in for next week. Plugs. We're going to do that now real quick. Ben, plug. I hear you're on Tumblr a lot now.
Yeah. I'm on Tumblr a lot now. And you can follow me at Ben C. Montoya. Ben C. Montoya. And I have some music up there, I have some writing up there, I have a lot of Goncharov memes that I've been reblogging. So if you want to get caught up on all the Gonch lore, there's some good ones in there.
Excellent. Ian.
I'm gonna plug my band Zoltan and the Fortune Tellers. We're on Spotify. We're on iTunes. We're on fucking Bandcamp. Go there, stream our shit, buy it. Got a new album out, After Dark. You might enjoy it. Zoltan and the Fortune Tellers.
All right. Let's go to Evan.
You can continually write me and no one else emails at ichoosepod@gmail.com. I still have yet to commit to a social media site. We'll see if Tumblr is the place for me. I feel like I should just like scrap my Tumblr and start over.
Were you not Lemon Zed on Tumblr?
Oh, I am, and I was, but that was like high school me. Now I got to get into real me.
Yeah, reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
Start Gonch posting.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just gonna start a Gonch fan blog.
There you go.
Every day is listening to new Gonch. Well, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm still on Twitter at VelocityPrime1 or on Tumblr at VelocityPrime1. So you can find me on both of those places if you want. I post our show to my Tumblr blog and have for the last 3 diggity dang years. So you can always find us there on Tumblr, or you can find us on our regular social media pages. But VelocityPrime1 on Twitter, VelocityPrime1 on Tumblr. After that, check out the-avocado.org. The-avocado.org has all my writing about video games, music, movies, all that business. Jeremy Zielik at the-avocado.org. I think that covers it for our stuff. So let's wrap up the show. This has been I Choose You. You can find us on your favorite podcast apps, including Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, or your podcast catcher of choice. If you like our show, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify to help us go up the ranks. If you want more I Choose You goodness, may I suggest checking out our social media pages, I Choose Pod on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok for a good time. Hang out with fellow choosies, submit recipes, talk about the show. If you want to be a part of the I Choose You community, may I suggest joining the I Choose You Discord. Links are in the episode description. It's a fun time. We had our movie night recently, and it was a ton of fun. And if you want to experience that, then I suggest heading over to the Discord. Lastly, but not leastly, I would suggest heading over to the official website, ichooseyou.menu. ichooseyou.menu has a full episode archive and a merch store, all of which is designed by one Evan Aubrey. ichooseyou.menu. I think that covers everything. So for the show, I've been your host and Alton Brown of the group, Jeremy Zielik.
I've been your friend on the show, Ben Montoya.
Ian Davis, the payo of the show.
And Evan Aubrey.
To all the listeners out there in Radioland, in a while, Totodile.
Yeah, I choose you. Yeah, I choose you. Everybody wants to be a master. Chef. Everybody wants to show their skill in the kitchen.